This Hangout on air is live. Okay.
Are we actually live?
It says live up in the corner.
Ooh, my goodness.
I don't know how to share this. Let me look. Invite people, mute microphone, turn camera off, settings, Q&A, screen share, capture, cameraman, control room. No.
I would think that there would be a, like...
It's for the two of us.
Right. I would think you would just, like, share the URL for the thing. Or
yeah, but look at the top of it. It's like UR plus Hangouts. Oh, it's huge. You'd think there'd be a easier... Well, maybe I'll just share this on the Patreon page. Let's see what happens. All right, click, copy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's find out. Patreon.com/starpower. Log in. That's not what I wanted to do. Posts.
Wouldn't we want the Q&A turned on? Because I think that's how people would ask us questions.
Oh no,
or maybe I misunderstand how this is all supposed to work.
Hang on a second. So I made it. I just posted the URL on the Patreon feed.
Okay.
The Q&A is an app that people ask us questions live on.
Okay.
What I said would do is, like, you submit questions to us through the Patreon feed, and we would answer them. That way we, have questions ahead of time, and we don't have to, like, deal with anything live, I guess. Oh, wait a minute. Star Powered Q&A. Links. Oh, for fuck's sake. Event page.
Did you find what you were looking for?
I think so. It might be the same. Hang on. This is very confusing.
Oh, of course it is. Why would it ever be straightforward?
Oh, wait, there's a YouTube page that gives us a link. Let's just do that. That seems to work a little better.
Yay.
I think. I posted a YouTube link in the... Here, let me do it again. Oh Jesus!
Hmm.
It's my goofy looking face in the act as a thumbnail. Oh Lord! Oh man!
Yay!
Boy.
Yay! Internet fame.
Yeah. All right.
Making ourselves look like total idiots since
Yep.
2000 something.
Hour to figure out, like, oh, maybe I should just do the browser that.
Works with it's part of the same company, does the thing and the place and the damn you Google. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, seriously, it took me a fucking hour to trying to figure this shit out. All right.
So are we actually like recording this now?
I don't know. It's a lot.
It's gonna be the greatest thing.
I know. You can see at the bottom, no one's watching.
This is gonna sit on YouTube forever, and you know, 30 years from now, you want to see some. Hey, Frank, you want to see some real idiots?
Yeah. Hey, Lito, look at your dad being an asshole. Like, Dad, I look at you doing that every goddamn day. Like, oh, you got me there. All right. So I have the. What do we got? Like big head, just bigger and uglier. All right. Questions for our first Q&A.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Invite people. Settings. Webcam. Capture. Cameraman. No. Draw on each other inside it? No.
Because that seems like
That's just
glorious idea.
for the worst thing ever. Showcase Q&A, capture, camera and control panel, Google Effects, YouTube. All right, whatever.
Right, that's right.
All right. So, I don't know. Should we just like? Hang on. Let me go to the.
Truth be told, the way I kind of figured that we were going to work this was we were going to kind of take questions while we were doing this. You know,
We could probably do that next time. I mean, this is our first run through with this, and you know, heaven knows, it's gonna take a couple of tries.
True.
Yeah.
And then I assume that you will be posting this live for people. Well, not posting it live, but you know, posting it for people to watch after the fact. So
I sure hope so.
like, you know, so one, those that couldn't join us can see our ridiculous antics.
Yeah, this is.
And also those who, you know, I don't know. I always kind of figured that, you know, the people that, you know, that anyone could watch, you know, the Q&A, but it was only the, you know, the Patreon pledgers who could, you know, actually submit questions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is our first try.
Yeah, well, ironing out the details and whatnot.
Yeah. And again, the bugs of it and everything. I couldn't get it to fucking work for an hour. How dare I try to use another browser?
Why would you ever want to use anything other than the almighty Chrome?
Seriously. All right.
In fact, Chrome kind of sucks.
Chrome kind of sucks. No.
I'm ambivalent about Chrome. Granted, I don't think there's a web browser that, you know, realistically exists anymore that I think is really bad.
Mm.
Some are maybe slightly less worse than the others, but Chrome and Google definitely want to like take over everything. Like I can't go to a web page without Chrome being like, do you want me to remember this password? Do you want me to remember this password?
Yeah, no.
Like, no.
Firefox is the same way, and I'm always like, no.
In fact, don't remember any passwords ever. In
No.
fact, don't remember anything. You don't need to know that.
Forget it all. Just forget it all.
Ah, which reminds me, I should clear my browser history at some point.
Oh man! All right, well, we've been—I don't know how long we've been doing this already, but
Do we actually know if we're recording this madness?
I don't know. Let me
Or
see.
are we just broadcasting it into the ether?
I don't know. Let me see. I don't know. I could have sworn there was a like, it will record shit for you automatically sort of
Yeah. Do you
deal.
think that'd be like, I don't know, a manual?
You'd think so. I could have sworn I saw that broadcast on YouTube. Remember, add your Hangout on-air recordings to your YouTube channel. It just says host a Hangout on. This is just like, I guess maybe we're.
And
Sure hope there's a way I can edit this after the fact to share it later. That is.
I don't know. Like, I feel like when Dern, I don't know if Dern still does these, but Dern and O used to do a bunch of the Sketchcast kinds of things.
Right.
He still does them. And I feel like there was there was a live element, and then there was some editing elements before it was like, and I don't know. I know nothing about Google or Hangouts or any of this nonsense.
Let's say what? How about we just try to answer these questions, or should I? No. How about we see? Part of me wants to stop the broadcast, go to the YouTube,
see what we've done so far, and then try again correctly.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't really blame you there. I think that's maybe not the worst of ideas.
All right. So where? Okay.
Do we have a YouTube channel now?
Yeah, Star Power. Well, Star Power is since it's I had to make. Hang on. I had to make and verify a YouTube channel for Star Power to get this thing started.
Right.
So since Star Power email is a Gmail account, we have a YouTube page, and I posted a YouTube link in the Patreon on the Patreon feed. Said come join us here. So maybe if I don't know, Alyssa is in there with the baby right now. I'm tempted to. Oh wait a minute! I have my laptop. I'm almost tempted when she gets out of there.
Multiple monitors, I'm sure. Windows.
No, she's in there with the baby because he's been screaming up a storm since she put him down for bed.
Poor thing.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with him tonight.
He knows you're doing stuff.
Yeah, of course. Of course he does. Oh, Dad has some important stuff he wants to do. All right. Wait a minute, I have my laptop.
This is so weird. Yes. Okay, so this is totally going live on YouTube right now. I am watching it about 5 seconds behind reality.
That is fucking weird.
Oh, it's super trippy.
All right.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on a second. I got. This is amazing. You have. Infinite loop. Infinite loop.
I've already done infinite loops.
Okay. All right. Enough of that.
That was weird. I kind of saw myself kind of in this jumpy sort of playback, sort of loopy.
Oh man. Oh. I had to shut that down. That's amazing though.
All right, so, okay. No. Oh, we have a viewer. Garth, we have a viewer. Or is that you?
Pretty.
Is that you? Oh my
Oh my goodness.
the hell are we doing with our lives?
Uh,
Yeah, no, I think
Making comics. I mean, what else are we doing?
Back down to 0 viewers.
Of course.
All right, so do you want?
Okay. My vote is we're gonna hang this up. We're gonna delete the hell out of that file.
All right,
I'm gonna try this again.
Okay, so let me go back into the Patreon thing. God, there's been, oh my goodness gracious, our patrons are gonna kill us. Well, not really. No,
I'm sure they're not. They're going to laugh at us a little while, and that's okay because we'll be laughing with them.
Yeah, seriously. So, all right. Creator posts. I gotta get rid of the. Visit YouTube.
So we're gonna hang this up.
Okay, now I'm watching us in a loop too.
So weird.
Okay, so let me go back to the Patreon thing. God, oh my goodness gracious. Okay, now I'm watching us in the past now on our feed.
They're going to laugh at us. So weird, right?
I know. Yeah, seriously. So, all right. I gotta get rid of the. Now you know what? I say we keep this. There's got to be some way to edit the first 20 minutes of this thing. Okay, now I'm watching us in a loop too. All right, I got rid of that. So I'm going to say we keep going. We've got the link. We've got the link up on Patreon. Let's just. I think we should just bite the bullet and with our own sort of like. And
we'll just keep going.
I say we just keep going. And when we stop the broadcast, I'll see. When we stop the broadcast, I'll see what I can do about like
editing out the early nonsense
stuff and hopefully make it something watchable for people who couldn't be able to make it. We'll just post it to the Patreon feed.
So we may have to. Well, take one was rough.
Yeah, take one. We're trying. Oh my goodness! All right.
I mean, that's all you can really ask for in the end.
All right. So I'm gonna turn this into my little editing point. We'll just start like. Okay, this future me not here.
Take two.
Something like that.
Star Power commercial. Take two.
Okay. And scene. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first Star-Powered Patreon Q&A, where we answer questions submitted to us through the Patreon feed. For those of you who are kind enough to support us at the $10 level or above, I'm Michael Terracciano. I am the writer for Star Power.
I'm Garth Graham. I'm the artist. I'm currently drawing, so this is the life.
So we are going to answer questions. We only got, well, it's our first try this time. So we got one person giving us 7 good questions. Hopefully this is recording. According to Google Hangouts, this stuff just records magically. So hopefully we can hopefully we can edit this and then post it. Because we did about 20 minutes of just dicking around, and there's a lot of this. Like, what's going on?
Oh, it's magical. Part of me actually hopes that sticks around just because it's so ridiculously bad. It's comedy.
Old men on the internet trying to figure out how them computers work.
When did we get old? Seriously.
Me, about 35 years later, I got old.
So when you were what?
I started getting old, yeah.
Were you born old? How does this work?
Some people have, yeah, I think, yeah.
Oh. All right, then.
You see how grouchy I am?
Very grouchy.
Yeah. And he's gone. Where'd he go?
Oh,
there he is. Okay, so.
I'm here. I know what I'm doing. Really, I do.
Very good. All right, so let's take our first question. These are all questions submitted by Anna. Thank you, Anna, very much for all your very good questions.
Great questions.
Yes. The first question. I recently did a piece with Sarah Pizzini of Witchblade, and the one comment I usually get on it is, I'm glad to see a drawing of Witchblade where she actually has clothes on. It's made me think about gratuitous female character designs and how they impact the way we react / look at them. What are your thoughts on that?
We're starting out deep, aren't we?
Yeah, right? Not like what you have for breakfast. All right, gratuitous female character designs. That's something we actually were very careful with Star Power, being a couple of male creators making a superhero comic about a female superhero. We were very careful about not wanting it be gratuitous or TNA or all the problems that usually plague female superheroes in the comics medium. But I know Garth wanted to make something that was still sexy, but not sexualized. And that's a definite line that we walk daily. Or we walked it daily when designing Star Power. Now that the design is done, we don't really have to worry about how she's going to look because we know how she's going to look. But I think that's something that a lot of people forget, that it's still like being sexy and being sexualized are two very different things. And you're allowed, I mean, I think
it's one of those things, like, there's nothing inherently wrong with a costume that shows a costume or an outfit that shows a lot of skin. I mean, Conan wears a pair of boots, and that's about it. And he's no less of a hero, as much as a barbarian can be, I guess. He's less of a hero for other reasons, but not because he wears a few furs and not a whole lot else. But we do this kind of, and that kind of thing is significantly less of an issue for male characters. For various reasons, whenever a female character, bears even just the tiniest bit of skin, it's people, they respect her less for some reason. And I think that's really sad.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have to be that.
I think that's got something to do with, we're just used to dudes being like almost naked. I mean, look at pro wrestling.
About that.
Yeah, right. Look at pro wrestlers. He-Man, for God's sakes. 300, the movie 300.
Right.
Like, those were dudes in loincloths and helmets with zero armor and like a cape.
Yep.
No one I know anyway, really seemed to like complain about all the gratuitous male character designs. I loved it. I was like,
I seem to remember a lot of comments being like, "Oh man, this is awesome."
I know. I was like, I want to look like that and spear some bad guys with my shield and spear and try to phalanx with other half-naked dudes. So I mean, but we don't like. I mean, there is a place for gratuitous designs.
Yeah.
Adult stuff.
I think that's kind of the where the problem really comes in, is that when it comes to female character designs, that's kind of become that sexy quality is all too often the default assumption. There's not nearly as much variety. When you have male characters, you can have very sexually charged male characters, in their designs and in their looks. You've got, you pick up a fantasy game, you've got, everything from the robed wizard to the paladin full plate male to the barbarian in his skin, and you've got a lot of options and a lot of room and a lot of variety. And when you have a female character, you get chainmail bikini, regardless of what class you play. Not always. Obviously.
No, if you're the sorceress, you get the robes.
Oh yes, but you get the very, very sexualized characters much of the time. And I think if there was more variety, I think that would I think that the Witchblade costume kind of look would not be as objectionable, I guess, because it would just be, instead of being one of 1,000, it would just be her thing. It would just be a style choice for that character,
Absolutely.
rather than the assumed this is how it ought to be.
I think a lot of like nerd media, at least, it's getting better. It's getting a lot better. I mean, everybody's going gaga over the new Mad Max movie, and I am.
It was really good.
Oh, it's fantastic. And
Awesome.
Charlize Theron is probably the unsexiest I've ever seen her dressed since Monster. And she's sexy as hell. It's just this fucking Imperator road warrior with a robot arm. So, like, it's getting better. It's getting a lot better. And I think maybe once it finally gets better, like, I think the occasional gratuitous design, I think, will be a little more tolerated, as opposed to, like, finger pointing, sort of like, you sexist son of a bitch, that sort of thing.
Right.
But we tried to avoid that in Star Power because
That kind of comment.
it's getting better, but it's still not where it should be, is what we think. So again, we're walking the line between a sexy. We're very much on the line where we want a costume that's sexy, but not sexualized, and that's the difference that we walk with Star Power. I think we covered that question pretty well.
I think so. We dabbled a little bit.
Let's go on to Anna's next question. What are some of the things that you two have in common that have nothing to do with Star Power or your life as creators? Oh, a personal question.
Honestly, I don't know how to answer this one, because so much of my life winds up being a part of my life as a creator anyway. It's like, oh, sweet new video game. Oh, well, that's now inspiration for, character designs and, plot elements. And, oh, I totally want to do a story about, this, that, and the other thing. So it all kind of feeds back in on itself.
Well, that's great, though. I mean, it's so many people. I mean, we meet these people at conventions, too. So many people dream of having their lives so entwined with being someone who's creating content. And it's pretty cool. One, it's pretty cool that we get to do it. That's just pretty cool. But I mean, even if we weren't doing this and just solely doing this, we could still be content creators, even if there were other, like, more, even if we had day jobs. I don't have a day job. I know, Garth, you don't have a day job.
Nope.
This is our job. So yes, we're very fortunate that, being comics creators is so entwined with every other aspect of our lives. But I think even if we weren't doing this for a living, it'd be the same, because that's just who we are. And it's such a great time that, thanks to the internet, you can be a content creator, even if you're not, even if it isn't your job. And it all depends on what you identify yourself as. Like, some people identify themselves by their jobs. I mean, hell, one day I might have to get a day job to support the little guy who's crying right now. I don't know if anybody can hear him crying in his nursery. I sure can. But yeah, I mean, even if I had to, like, get a day job and work a day job, I would still identify myself as a comic creator, as opposed to whatever day job I have. And that's my choice, and I choose to do that. And anybody has that choice too. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm not a webcomicer because it's not my job." I think it's bullshit. I think if you create any webcomic on any level, even if you have like 2 people watching it, you're still as valid a webcomic creator as a couple of guys who have been doing it for over 10 years, like me and Garth. It all depends on how you see yourself. I'm getting really deep for this on this question, I think.
Yeah, so let's pull it back. So let's simplify it a little bit. What are your hobbies?
Well, we both love superheroes.
True.
We both love comics. We love playing video games and yelling at them in
Yes.
great rage.
I've gotten better about that, though.
Me too.
Good for us.
I know, right? We're pulling back our petty screamings from. Although, of all the things to scream at, I'm glad I screamed in the past, at least, at video games. Because
it's much better than screaming at people.
People or babies.
Yeah.
Because video games can't yell back, and their feelings don't get hurt that we know of yet. Anyway.
I'm waiting for the scientific study that shows that video games can feel pain.
Oh, that's terrible. They're going to start inflicting pain on it. Well, they already do.
It's true.
Blood pressure medicine.
Nothing but emotion.
The future is probably going to be the result of video games. What else do we have in common, Garth?
Space.
What was that?
Space. You love space?
Oh, space. Oh, God, yes. How did we
miss that one?
How did we miss that one? We do panels called, like, space is awesome. And, like, then you and I nerd out for an hour about how cool space is.
And it really is just, like, an hour of, like, oh, my God, space is so...
I know, right? Did you hear this thing that's happening in space?
Oh, my God! That we put SUV on Mars! You know, shit like that. It's amazing.
So, yeah, we love space. Again, all of the stuff that we have in common feeds back into our lives as creators, because I think that's what makes our collaboration work so well, is that we have so much in common and we have such similar viewpoints on things and like shared opinions on stuff that we're passionate about, that our collaboration just sort of feels very natural and not like a working relationship, even though we have a working relationship. It just feels like two buddies making some cool stuff they want to share with the world.
Yeah, it's kind of funny actually when you can usually tell when that's the case in any kind of creative endeavor. Like you watch a show, you watch a movie, and you can kind of tell when the people involved really love what they do. And they just versus they're there for a job, like that distinction is it usually shows.
Do you know anybody who's into webcomics as a job? Well, not like in the way that you described it. Like,
yeah, I don't think I know anyone who's ever said to themselves. Certainly, no one who's ever had any amount of success in webcomics. Who've said to themselves, you know what? I'm looking for, a payday. I'm going to get into webcomics. I don't think that phrase has ever been uttered in seriousness. Comics and the arts in general is not a profession that anyone, even though it is a profession, it's not one people get into because they're like, well, gotta pay rent. Guess I'll go draw something.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that doesn't seem to be usually how that works out for people.
Not usually, but again, with the internet these days, it can happen. And it does happen,
right?
If you're lucky and you put the time in and you have the love,
Yeah.
What else do we have in common, dude? Our dislike of table barnacles.
Well, I mean, although actually, I would say that we share a dislike of confrontation.
Yes, we do. I think you and I much prefer the kill 'em with kindness approach to confrontation.
Yeah.
We aren't really very easily provoked, and we're not very easily. Rascal, my cat. No, hey, I'm sorry. I'm doing a hangout thingy. My cat.
He wants to be involved.
She certainly does with everything. Plus, they also need to be fed, my cats. And there's a screaming baby in the nursery, and his screams kind of hit this pitch in their ears that just drives them crazy. Same with parents, too.
Babies.
Yeah, right. I often joke with Lido when he's crying, like, other baby animals sound so adorable when they're crying. When a kitten meows or a puppy whines, what do humans get? Banshee screaming. Jesus.
Well, apparently it works. Somewhere along the lines, humans evolved an innate knowledge that aggravation is an effective motivator.
Oof. God.
I know. Isn't that that's a little sad, actually.
There's also a time I'm having trouble believing there was a time in my life I did not want to go to sleep. Lito, go the fuck to sleep. Oh boy, oh boy.
It's true though.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so yeah, lots in common, lots of nerdy.
Lots in common, and I think that's what makes our collaboration work so well. Is that so much of what we have in common with is tied into our lives as creators, but it doesn't feel like work. You know, it just feels like this is a very natural friendship. All right.
Yeah.
I think we went into that question very deeply, maybe a little more deeply than was originally.
It's not like we have no capacity for, you know, rambling.
Oh God,
like
no.
No. Goodness knows, we'd never continue talking just because we can.
No, of course not. All right, what's the question number 3? You talk a lot about things you do. What are things you don't like doing?
Taxes.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. I pay a guy to do my taxes for me, and I still hate it.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's kind of the obvious one for that one is anything involving paperwork or accounting. Yeah,
money stuff.
Business. We don't like doing business.
That's it. It's the most important part of. It's arguably the other most important part of doing webcomic for a living, and it's the part we hate the most.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't think we're alone on that one, though. I think that's a very common thing amongst artists. It's like, you know, man, I just want to draw.
I do. I just want to tell stories.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we don't quite live in a world where that works in and of itself. We're getting close, though.
Getting there. We're getting there. But I think you and I hate talking about money.
Yeah. It's awkward.
Excuse me a second. Excuse me just 1 second, everybody. My son is absolutely shrieking, and I need help with him.
While you go away, I'm going to show people what I've been working on.
Okay.
Because that seems like a thing. So can you do something about that? I'm currently coloring some of the upcoming pages for Star Power. This is issue 10. A couple pages into the whole thing, and as you can probably make out, everything is exploding and on fire and awful, because that's how stories go. It's not really a you start with, well, God, I wish I could remember who said it.
All right, I'm back. What happened?
Oh, just talking about stuff that's coming up in Star Power. Things are on fire and everything is awful.
Oh yeah, everything's awful.
Everything is awful. You probably know the answer to this. Who said it? Is something about you start with a disaster and build to a catastrophe.
Well, I don't know. That's amazing.
Right? It is like advice for how do you tell a compelling story.
I like that.
And I've always enjoyed that as as an example of how to tell a good story.
It's a good one.
Things need to keep getting worse.
No, it's the internet. Somebody can look it up, and we'll.
Oh yeah, no. I'm sure it was. I'm sure I'm really screwing up the actual wording, or I'm misremembering how it works.
Right.
What was exactly said, or what the original author was talking about, but I like it.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So, what else? All right. So I know we don't like talking about money.
Right. And I think that's also I think a lot of people don't like talking about money. Like somewhere in our culture, it got ingrained because like one of the most rude things I can think, aside from asking a woman what her age is, I think the second most rude thing in the world is to ask somebody how much they make.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not sure exactly when or even why that became such a taboo subject, but like it's not something that people like to talk about.
No, it's
in general.
Oof. I never knew what the big deal was growing up as a kid. I remember asking my dad a couple of times, "Dad, how much money do you make?" I was like 5 or 6. I was just curious, and he was like, oh, just go away. And now, like, I can see why. It's the most nerve-wracking thing to talk about because you don't know if you're gonna make someone feel bad with how well you're doing, or if you're about to feel terrible knowing how actually comparatively bad you're doing, or if you're somewhere in between. I don't know. Talking about money is probably the worst thing in the world. We hate talking about it. It's drawn up with taxes and everything. It's just the fucking worst thing ever. What else do I hate doing? Cleaning the cat litter. I hate that. Oh, that's terrible. My cat's the stinkiest animals I've ever encountered. Checking out the garbage. I gotta walk like 20 feet.
So awful.
I hate it. It's the absolute worst thing I've ever heard. So there's that. What else doing? Oh, I like doing most other things. If I don't like doing something, I don't normally engage in it. But again, taxes and money and
there's a few things that you kind of have to do, even if you don't like them.
Yeah, taxes and cleaning and cat litter stuff. And these are some of my least favorite things. Okay, moving on.
Doesn't quite scan, but yeah.
All right, our next question. Do you have a favorite Disney character? If so, in what way do you think they would be a good, bad influence on kids or even adults?
My favorite Disney character.
I just like how, Garth, from now on, when you start talking, just your page shows up.
Does it? Oh, okay, all right. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the automatic cuts between people. So.
No, I mean, instead of...
Oh, so when I start talking, things explode.
And this computer screen shows up.
Oh, all right.
Your favorite Disney... Why don't you take this one first, Garth?
Right, so favorite Disney character, which is actually... I do have a favorite Disney character, but it's actually a really hard one to pin down because there's a lot of really good ones. But my favorite Disney character, at least for now, would be Elisa Maza from the Disney cartoon Gargoyles. Takes back a little bit, doesn't it?
Nice.
Most people don't remember a lot of that stuff.
Eliza, man.
Elisa, was how I always heard it pronounced anyway. But yeah, no, she was just an amazing character. She was, for those of you who have never had the joy of watching the show Gargoyles, one, you should find yourself a copy somewhere and watch it because it's amazing. And unlike a lot of television from the 90s, mid-90s, holds up pretty well, actually. I'm perpetually impressed by how much story they're able to tell in under 30 minutes because you've got commercial breaks and everything. But anyway, so she was a New York, police detective, and she is just utter badass. Doesn't take shit from anybody, but still, but it doesn't fall into that unfortunate trope of the emotionless, stoic badass thing that so many heroes do fall into. But and she's not like she's not like Dirty Harry kind of, granted it's a Disney cartoon, so I mean, but she genuinely is all about her. Everything that she does is about helping people out because that's, damn it, the right thing to do. And as a kid, I knew that she was really cool and really special. And I because you don't see a lot of characters that are like that, unfortunately. Most characters they're driven by something in their past that haunts them, rather than it's just doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And I don't know, I thought she was amazing. She's a great character.
Man, Gargoyles, I'd forgotten all about. I hadn't forgotten about Gargoyles, but first. I haven't thought about gargoyles in ages, man. Jeez.
Yeah, it's wacky how all those childhood things will come back to you. You don't think about them for years and decades, and
And all of a sudden, the guy who draws your webcomic says gargoyles, and all of a sudden, you're a teenager again. My favorite Disney character, I'm gonna have to go with one of the movies. I see. I watched The Little Mermaid all the time on VHS, like constantly. My dad used to get aggravated with me. Like, you're watching this again? Watch something else. No, fucking mermaids. I think over the years now, I would say my favorite has to be Belle. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favorites ever. But I think as I'm thinking about it, Belle does her own thing, is a bookworm, likes to read, likes to learn stuff, and through her just being awesome, melts the heart of a monster, or warms the heart of a monster, so to speak. And that's a nice thing, I think, nice influence on kids, I suppose. Like, do your own thing, be true to yourself, and compassion will win over. Compassion will win the day. And I get mad at anyone who calls Beauty and the Beast a fucking Stockholm Syndrome movie. I hate it. I hate that. Stockholm Syndrome would have been if Belle became as cynical and monstrous as the Beast, her captor, not the other way around. She melts his heart. Urgh. But I'm also a huge sucker for a good love story. So, Beauty and the Beast, that's my favorite one. Call me old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned.
Thank you.
Ooh, that's harkening back to another thing. That's another thing that we enjoy. Bad jokes.
Oh, terrible jokes. Absolutely horrible jokes. I want you to tell me the one about the drug dealer who sold you shoes.
Did I ever tell you about the time I bought a pair of shoes from a drug dealer?
Tell me about what happened.
In all fairness, I don't actually know that he was a drug dealer, but he must have laced them with something, because I was tripping all day. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our style of humor.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Garth, did you hear that NASA is going to launch cattle into orbit?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be the herd shot around the world. All right, next question.
I'm sure if anyone is watching this right now, they've already turned it off. They've been like, nope.
Oh, man, you guys are boring as fuck. You're old. Question number 5. Question number 5 of 7. Sure, we should wrap this up relatively soon. I think we're going on at least we're going on. I don't know how long we've been going, but
too long.
Probably too long. Yeah. Can you describe your favorite color to someone who is blind? That's like out of Mask, isn't it? You ever seen Mask? How old am I? Oh God.
Wait.
Mask with Eric Stoltz. He's the kid with the huge face.
Right. Okay. You're right. I'm pretty certain I've seen that film, but it's been years and years.
There's a scene in that movie where, because he goes to because he's got this really rare condition that screws up his face. That was really insensitive of me to say that, but it's the truth.
He's a little weird looking. That's kind of the point of the movie.
Looking, yeah. But he goes to this camp for blind kids, so no one will make fun of him for how he looks. And he tries to describe a color to a blind girl. And I think, if I remember the scene correctly, he takes her into a kitchen or something, and this is red, and he puts her hands over something really hot, and he said this is white, and he gives her some cotton balls or something. I don't remember. I just remember red being near something very hot, and there was other sensations from that scene.
It's really fascinating because color does that. We have a lot of emotional and even physical associations with color.
But this is to someone who's never seen color.
Right. But that's the fact. That's what makes color so fascinating, is that even if they have no idea what it looks like, you can still kind of describe the emotional charge that comes with a lot of colors. Like if I describe to you it feels like it feels
weird, isn't it?
It's hard. Yes, it is hard. It is hard because words, not what I do. That's why I work with you.
That's why you're the artist and I'm the writer.
Yes, words, museums speak good. But it's, if I describe a color as it feels like being hugged by 6 inches of glass, you probably have an idea of what kind of color, maybe not the exact chromatic hue, but I think anyway. I mean, I know what that color is, but
What color is that?
it's a blue green. It's the color of it's a very specific hue. All right, so like, have you ever seen photographs of lagoons in like the Caribbean?
Yeah.
Where like the really, really deep ones, right? Where like, it's not just like, it's not like the bright blue, but it's like it's still the hyper crystal clear water, but it's deeper than I guess what would be a proper lagoon. So it goes from being that bright blue color to being this super cool green, but it's still super, super blue. And I don't know, it reminds me of the color of and the feeling I get with a really heavy slab of glass, because glass after a certain thickness gets that kind of color tint to it.
So you would describe it as being hugged by glass to someone who's blind.
Oh, it's sensations that I would hope they would be familiar with, or at least be able to imagine.
All right, I'm going to take a crack at this. Can I describe my favorite color to someone who's blind? My favorite color is green. How do I describe green to someone? My instinct is to like pass their hands through some grass or leaves, healthy leaves, not like the dead fall leaves. But I don't know if that would work because like I'm associating green with things I see as green. I don't know if there's necessarily a sensation that I would associate. So like my gut tells me to like, if I need to describe my favorite color as someone who's blind, to let them feel nature-y things. But can I actually do it? I don't think I can. At least at this, thinking of it right now, I don't know if I can. But that would be my attempt. And if they would probably shake their heads at me like, I don't get it, you idiot. And I would probably like, hang my head in shame. Like, I'm sorry, I'll do better next time.
Oh,
man. All right, our next question.
Well, before we leave color, I do this weird thing. There's certain color names that I feel are wrong.
Color names that are wrong?
Yeah, like to me, chartreuse, which is a kind of a lime greenish color, is a red. That word chartreuse says red to me.
It sounds red to you?
It's that, yeah. But it's green. It's green. Go figure.
You colorist, you. All right. Our second to last question. What is your favorite type of cookie? What is your favorite type of cookie? What do you think it says about you? Oh man, my favorite type of cookie. I love so many cookies. Well, I want to say my favorite cookie is an Oreo cookie, and I think that says about me that I'm a fan of the classics. That sometimes the simplest cookie is the best. Sometimes the simplest things are some of the most elegant and enjoyable. But if I really had to be honest with myself, I think my favorite kind of cookie is an oatmeal raisin cookie. I think that means, I think it says about me that I love delicious cookies. Amazing.
But I don't know about that one, Mook.
No, the Oreo one was a little more poetic. Oatmeal raisin. See, I love oatmeal raisin cookies that much is that I lose the capacity to sound semi-intelligent. I just lose my mind. I'm like, oatmeal raisin. Oh yes, good cookie. Oh yes, an Oreo means I'm a fan of the classics, and simplicity sometimes is the path to elegance, and sometimes you don't need to embellish to make something beautiful. But oatmeal raisin, oh, me want cookie. Oh. So that's my favorite. My favorite cookie makes me stupid.
That's a pretty good cookie if it makes you dumb.
An amazing cookie. Now I want cookies. How many cookies?
Well,
Shit.
I don't know. I'd say that my favorite kind of cookie is chocolate chip.
Ooh.
You know, that might be boring, but I like it. Although if I really want to be honest, I like any cookie that is in my hand. And that probably does not say anything flattering about me.
Oh, it means that you don't discriminate.
No.
It means that you love all things good and kind in the world.
I like that you're pulling that around.
It's my cookie philosophy.
Cookie philosophy. I feel like that ought to be a book if it isn't already.
I might write it. I might just have to sit in a room, in a dark room, and just sample cookies until I'm deep.
Oh no.
In the dental bills.
Yeah, I'm sure your dentist would not be happy with you on that
They'd
one.
be thrilled. Like, all right, let's do some work. Fantastic.
I don't know. My dentist is always pissed off whenever I come in and he's like, well, you got a filling, god damn it.
Oh man, I have multiple fillings every time I go to the dentist. I'm the worst. I think I would have learned the first time I had to get 6 fillings in one visit.
Oof.
Like 3 more every time I go.
Jesus.
Because I love Oreo cookies, man.
Clearly, Oreo, it's tough love.
Yeah, double stuff. Ooh. So good. All right, last questions. Last question. What are some things you hope to be able to say about your work together 1 year from now?
It was worth it.
Well, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Hope we're not talking the past tense completely 1 year from now. No, it's. I mean, we're doing Star Power what, 2 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it will be 2 years. I think in the beginning. I think it technically is now.
I think it's already been 2 years. I think we're now in the middle. We're working towards year 3 now. So we're not very far into it.
We launched the comic, the web comic, just after Anime Boston in 2013, and that was in like May. So yeah, I think we are 2 years of the site live. But 1 year from now, when we're going on our 3rd year or 4th year, or math.
The math year.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
I hope saying what I'm still saying is that this collaboration has been so creative. Speaking personally, that this collaboration has been hugely creatively rejuvenating, and that after 11 years of doing something creatively one way, it's really refreshing to do something creatively in an entirely different way, with an entirely different subject matter, with an entirely new set of characters, and essentially starting all over again from the work that we had before, because it's not connected to our previous work in any way except by our names. And I say now that this is probably this working relate. And we said this earlier. Our working relationship feels very natural. It feels very effortless. when we have concerns, it's a discussion and never an argument. And 1 year from now, I really hope to still be saying what I'm saying right now, is that the past 2 years up to now, and a year from now, and a year after that, and after that, and after that, just a real thrill. And I hope it goes on for years and years and years.
Yeah. Man, not the eloquent one.
All right. So I think we've reached the end of our first Star Power Q&A. To anybody who was actually watching, maybe there was somebody watching at one point, maybe not. Who knows? Thank you for watching. We hope this recorded, and we'll post this on an exclusive link on our Patreon feed. Thank you guys for watching so much and putting up with our shenanigans.
as shenanigan-y as they were.
All right.
I hope you all will join us next time, when we do this again next month.
Absolutely, once a month. Probably towards the end of the month, we'll have an announcement on the Patreon feed, and we hope you guys submit questions to us. We love answering questions. We'll get deep or stupid on any question that is both deep and or stupid. But there is no such thing as a stupid question. We have learned from this there is very much such a thing as a stupid answer.
Lots of stupid answers. Oh my goodness.
Stupid answers.
We are the masters of the stupid answer.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Until next time.
Bye.